The Buddhist vision of life is not linear but circular, a continuous turning of the wheel known as samsara. Unlike the Western notion of a single life followed by an eternal afterlife, samsara depicts existence as an ongoing cycle where birth, death, and rebirth repeat without end. This wheel spins not through divine decree, but through the momentum of our own ignorance and desires. Every being, from the smallest insect to the highest celestial god, is caught within this ceaseless flow, drifting from one form of existence to another, driven by forces often unseen. To understand samsara is to recognize its restless nature. Nothing within it is stable or lasting. Just as seasons turn, bodies age, and empires fall, so too does consciousness move from one vessel to the next. Life in samsara is not random. It follows the subtle laws of cause and effect. Each action, thought, and intention plants seeds that ripen over time, weaving the tapestry of our future experiences. The wheel of samsara is often depicted with its spokes and segments, a symbolic reminder that beings wander endlessly, propelled by ignorance, craving, and aversion. It is both vast and intimate, shaping the course of galaxies and the smallest flicker of thought in the human mind. To see samsara clearly is to awaken to the truth that ordinary existence, as we live it, is both wondrous in its diversity and yet bound by suffering. The endless wheel keeps turning, unless one finds the path to step outside its motion. At the heart of samsara lies karma, the law of cause and effect that binds beings to the wheel. In Buddhism, karma is not fate, nor is it punishment imposed by an external power. Instead, it is the natural unfolding of intentional actions, what we choose to think, say, and do. Every moment of intention plants a seed within the stream of consciousness, and these seeds eventually bear fruit, shaping the circumstances of future lives. Karma is deeply personal, yet also profoundly interconnected. A single act of kindness can ripple outward, easing suffering for others while softening the conditions for one's own rebirth. Conversely, acts of cruelty or selfishness plant seeds of pain, drawing one into experiences that reflect those harmful states of mind. Over countless lifetimes, these seeds weave together, creating a web of conditions that keep beings wandering through samsara's vast landscapes. The Buddha taught that while we cannot escape the consequences of past actions, we are never powerless in the present. Each choice we make becomes an opportunity to shift the direction of our journey. To live mindfully is to sow wholesome seeds of compassion, generosity, and wisdom that gradually loosen samsara's grip. Karma, then, is not a prison but a mirror. It reflects back the energy of our intentions, urging us to see clearly the patterns that bind us and the freedom that arises when we act with skillful awareness. Within the turning of samsara, existence unfolds across 6 realms, each reflecting the states of mind that dominate beings. These realms are not merely otherworldly places, but also mirrors of the psychological landscapes we inhabit in our daily lives. At the highest levels are the realms of the gods, radiant with pleasure and abundance. Yet even here, beings remain bound, for indulgence in bliss blinds them to impermanence, and when their merit fades, they fall. The demigods, consumed by envy and rivalry, dwell in conflict, forever grasping at what others possess. The human realm, though marked by suffering, is precious, for it uniquely balances pleasure and pain, offering the rare chance to awaken. Lower realms reveal the darker currents of existence. The animal realm embodies ignorance and instinct, where survival eclipses wisdom. Hungry ghosts wander in endless craving, their desires vast yet never fulfilled, mirroring the human tendency toward insatiable longing. At the depths lie the hell realms, forged from hatred and rage, where beings burn in the fires of their own hostility. Though these realms may seem distant, they arise moment by moment within us. A flash of anger can feel like hell, while a taste of generosity reflects the heavens. To see the realms is to understand that samsara is not simply elsewhere. It is here, unfolding in our hearts and shaping the lives we live now and those yet to come. At the root of samsara lies a fundamental misunderstanding, the belief in permanence. We cling to identities, possessions, relationships, and experiences as if they could last forever, yet all are subject to change. Buddhism teaches that what we call the self is not a fixed entity but a fluid process, constantly shifting with conditions. Like a flame that passes from candle to candle, consciousness continues, but it is never the same flame, never the same self. This illusion of permanence fuels our suffering. We grasp at youth, only to face aging. We hold on to loved ones, only to encounter loss. We build lives upon shifting sands, only to watch them dissolve. The wheel of samsara turns because of this grasping. Our refusal to accept impermanence leads us to crave stability where none exists. Yet impermanence is not a curse but a truth that opens the door to freedom. Because nothing is fixed, change is possible. A cruel mind can grow compassionate, ignorance can give way to wisdom, and cycles of suffering can be broken. To see impermanence clearly is to soften the grip of attachment, to live with greater tenderness, and to begin loosening the bonds that tie us to endless rebirth. By recognizing the illusion of permanence, the seeker moves closer to awakening. To live in samsara is to live in dukkha, the pervasive unsatisfactoriness that touches every corner of existence. Dukkha is not limited to moments of obvious pain or tragedy. It also includes the subtle dissatisfaction that lingers even in times of joy. Pleasures fade, achievements lose their shine, and every gain carries within it the seed of loss. The very fabric of samsaric life is woven with impermanence, making lasting fulfillment impossible. The Buddha spoke of 3 forms of dukkha. The first is the suffering of suffering, physical pain, illness, grief, and all direct forms of hardship. The second is the suffering of change, when what is pleasant inevitably ends, leaving longing or regret in its wake. The third, more subtle, is the suffering of conditioned existence itself, the fact that as long as we remain caught in samsara, even neutral or fleetingly pleasant experiences rest upon unstable ground. This does not mean that life is devoid of beauty or meaning. Rather, it reveals why clinging to samsara can never bring true peace. Even in the heavens, where pleasure abounds, the shadow of impermanence lingers. To see this clearly is not to despair, but to awaken a deeper yearning for liberation beyond the cycle, where peace is not subject to decay. Awareness of dukkha thus becomes a turning point, guiding the heart to seek freedom rather than fleeting comfort. Even within the turbulence of samsara, moments of awakening shine like stars in the night sky. These glimpses remind us that liberation is not distant or abstract. It can be tasted here and now. When a person acts with genuine compassion, offering kindness without expectation, they momentarily step outside the grasp of self-centered craving. When mindfulness allows us to witness a thought arise and dissolve without clinging, we experience a freedom beyond habitual patterns. Such moments may seem small, but they carry profound significance. They reveal that samsara is not an unbreakable prison. It is a cycle maintained by ignorance. Each instant of clarity loosens its chains. A breath taken in awareness, a choice guided by wisdom, a heart softened by empathy. These are seeds of awakening planted in the soil of everyday life. The Buddha himself described awakening as a gradual unfolding. Rarely does the mind leap from delusion to liberation in a single bound. More often, it is like the dawning of light, where darkness retreats little by little. Each glimpse builds trust in the path, reminding us that freedom is possible, not just for saints or sages, but for anyone who walks with sincerity. These glimpses do not erase suffering, but they transform how we meet it. They teach us that within samsara, we can already cultivate the qualities that point beyond it. In recognizing these moments, we begin to live as if liberation is already blooming within us. The Buddha offered not only diagnosis but also a cure, the Noble Eightfold Path, a way to move beyond samsara cycles. This path is not a set of rigid commandments but a guide for transforming the mind, speech, and actions so that they align with wisdom and compassion. It unfolds in 3 interwoven trainings: ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom. Right view and right intention form the foundation, inviting us to see life through the lens of impermanence and interconnectedness, and to cultivate motivations free from greed, ill will, and delusion. Right speech, right action, and right livelihood ground this vision in daily life, urging us to speak truthfully, act kindly, and live in ways that do not harm. Right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration refine the mind itself, enabling us to notice patterns of craving and release them, to rest in awareness, and to enter deep states of meditative stillness. Walking this path does not mean escaping life, but engaging it with clarity. Each step weakens the karmic currents that propel rebirth, loosening the bonds of ignorance and craving. Over time, the wheel of samsara spins with less force, until its momentum can be stilled entirely. The Eightfold Path is not merely a philosophy, it is a way of living that transforms every moment into an opportunity for awakening. It is the bridge from endless wandering to freedom. Beyond the endless turning of samsara lies nirvana, the great release. Unlike the realms of rebirth, nirvana is not a place one enters, but the cessation of the cycle itself, the extinguishing of ignorance, craving, and the fires that fuel suffering. To describe it fully is impossible, for it is beyond words and concepts. The Buddha often spoke of nirvana through negation, the end of greed, the end of hatred, the end of delusion. Yet he also described it as peace, freedom, and the highest bliss. Nirvana is not annihilation, nor is it eternal existence as the self imagines it. Rather, it is awakening to the reality that there was never a fixed self to cling to, and thus nothing to bind us. When the illusions of permanence and separation dissolve, what remains is unconditioned, a freedom not subject to birth or death. For those still within samsara, nirvana may seem distant, like a horizon always receding. Yet the Buddha assured that it is attainable, here and now, through the cultivation of the path. Each act of mindfulness, each step of compassion, each moment of wisdom points in its direction. Nirvana is not elsewhere. It is the awakening that occurs when the wheel of samsara stops turning, when the restless wanderer finally rests. In this silence, suffering ends, and boundless peace shines forth. As the journey through samsara's vast landscapes comes to rest, a gentle stillness arises. We have traced the wheel of birth and death, seen how karma plants its seeds, wandered through realms of suffering and delight, and glimpsed the threads of impermanence woven into every moment. We have felt the weight of dukkha, yet also the tender openings of awakening, where compassion and wisdom shine through the cracks of ignorance. And finally, we have walked along the noble path, reaching toward the horizon of nirvana, the profound peace beyond all cycles. To rest here is to breathe with deeper ease, to let go of the clinging that drives us endlessly forward. Samsara, with all its turbulence, has been both a teacher and a mirror. It has shown us the consequences of craving, but also the possibilities of freedom. Each life, each moment, is a chance to turn inward, to soften, to choose a path that leads not deeper into wandering, but toward release. As night falls and silence gathers, let the heart hold these reflections lightly. Imagine the wheel slowing, the constant motion giving way to calm. In that calm, notice how awareness itself is vast, open, and free. This is the taste of liberation, not far away, but present in every mindful breath. May this awareness accompany you into rest, a reminder that samsara is not a prison but a passage, and nirvana is not a distant dream but the peace waiting quietly within. Sleep gently, with the Dharma as your guide, and awaken renewed in the morning light.